And Justin Baldoni in this lawsuit with Blake Lively, because I think she's horrible and she's made up this whole thing because she tried to steal his movie. A 2009 Glamour UK interview by Blake Lively. And in her interview, she admitted to trying to poison the cast of Gossip Girl, which is where she made her name, against her co-star Penn Badgley, who played her love interest, Dan Humphrey, on the show. She said, "At first I was so upset that they had hired him. I actually poisoned the whole cast against him."
The motion to dismiss is from the New York Times, as Justin Baldoni is suing them. So while this doesn't have as much to do with Blake Lively's defense, these parallel lawsuits leave a lot in the exhibits.
Holy bombshell! America's sweetheart Blake Lively just got exposed and dragged by Megyn Kelly. And this is the juiciest Hollywood takedown we've seen all year. Is America's golden girl actually a calculating manipulator? Megyn Kelly thinks so, and she's coming in hot, accusing Blake of orchestrating a vicious smear campaign against Justin Baldoni. Grab your popcorn, because this celebrity war is getting nasty, with leaked texts, million-dollar lawsuits, and even Taylor Swift getting pulled into the crossfire. The gloves are off as Kelly tears Blake's innocent victim image to shreds, calling out what she sees as a desperate, calculated PR move designed to bury Baldoni's career. This isn't just drama, it's a full-on Hollywood earthquake.
Absolutely no feelings about this guy, Justin Baldoni. In fact, to be perfectly honest, I reviewed some of his social media, and he seems kind of ridiculous with his toxic masculinity, lamentations, and so on. But that's fine, that's me. So I'm not on his side. But my point is simply, I just don't see it. In their incendiary complaint, where they're trying to do their best to bash him and the PR team, I don't see that the second loop closed of, and then here's where they did it. It's just all supposition. They don't have these great texts saying, look what I got placed in the New York Post.
She says he's been harassing her, and they bring in some team, and he says, whatever you want, I will do it or not do it. You tell me. So they go forward. Well, we move forward in the story, and she's got to go do PR for the film. And she goes out in the summer, this past summer, and she had about 2 minutes of bad PR.
Megyn Kelly is going scorched earth on Blake Lively, branding her a serial fraudster and exposing her supposed domineering behavior on film sets. Kelly claims Lively has been causing major drama with co-stars and directors, allegedly trying to control everything creative, which has created unbelievable friction behind the scenes. This tea is scalding.
She is at the 2022 Forbes Power Women's Summit.
I would show up on a set. I knew that they just wanted me to show up and look cute and stand on a little pink sticker where I'm supposed to go and say what I'm supposed to say. But I also knew that that wasn't fulfilling for me, that I wanted to be a part of the storytelling, that I wanted to be a part of the narrative, whether that be in the writing, in the costume design, in creating the character. And sometimes I had directors or producers or writers who would welcome that and invite that once they saw that I was able to offer that. And sometimes I would have people who really resented that because they were like, we just hired you to be an actor. Yet when I went in the meetings, I would just seem like I'm just there to be the actor and ready to get the gig. I wouldn't reveal that I actually need to have authorship in order to feel fulfilled. So I think that for them, sometimes that might have felt like a rug pull because you're like, you're trying to assert yourself into something that we didn't hire you to do.
So she's a serial fraud.
The It Ends With Us drama reached fever pitch in December 2024 when Blake filed a bombshell complaint with the California Civil Rights Department. She accused Justin Baldoni of creating a hostile work environment, claiming he made unwelcome visits to her makeup trailer and pressured her during intimate scenes. Baldoni is not backing down. He's denying everything and prepping a countersuit, claiming Blake's allegations are just a calculated move to save her public image.
Blake's lawsuit. She says that Justin wanted her to remove her blazer to see her in her onesie that she was wearing, and that he told her that this would be a sexier look, or that she looked sexy, and she felt very uncomfortable about this, okay? So apparently what actually happened is that, according to Justin's attorneys, he suggested she take off her big coat so that her onesie would be visible in the scene because it will be hot, because it was 90 degrees in the small bar with no air conditioning. Lively mischaracterizes this in her complaint as Baldoni referring to her as hot, not, the temperature. Given that Lively herself had earlier expressed to him that she wanted her character's wardrobe to be sexier, Baldoni encouraged her to accept direction by saying, "It's sexy," meaning that without the big coat, the wardrobe was sexier, as Lively had said she wanted it to be. Lively took this personally. She was unable to take the direction regarding her self-chosen wardrobe, stating, "That's not what I'm going for."
In the midst of all this chaos, Megyn Kelly has jumped into the fray, publicly dragging Lively and questioning her allegations. Kelly called her a serial fraudster and highlighted reports about her supposedly controlling behavior on previous projects, suggesting this has caused major clashes with co-stars and directors. Kelly's takedown adds yet another explosive layer to this already messy legal battle.
Blake Lively did not even read the book that the movie was based on.
Correct.
And we're not talking War and Peace. And then she wanted to, ixnayed all of the wardrobe choices, because when you're making a movie about a poor woman who's suffering from domestic violence, you want her to look like she has money.
Right.
That Blake said.
That's what she did.
She looks like she has money.
Yep.
And she's dressing in florals, and then she's going on this press tour pushing her liquor line
insane.
and her hair care line, because that's what women who are trying to escape with their lives are worried about.
That's what generated her negative press and led to a series of clips of her being insensitive in one way, shape, or form with other interviewers in the past. She has no one to blame but herself for that.
The press tour is part of that pay package.
Right.
You have to show up with a smile on your face and be polite to people who are not lobbying.
Leaked text messages have surfaced, y'all. These explosive exchanges supposedly between Justin Baldoni's PR head Jennifer Abel and crisis management expert Melissa Nathan are shocking. In one message, Abel allegedly told Nathan, "I think you guys need to be tough and show the strength of what you guys can do in these scenarios. The gloves are completely off."
They included multiple text messages in her lawsuit against Justin Baldoni. Some of these text messages are between two women that Justin hired, one of them being Melissa Nathan, who is a crisis management expert, and publicist Jennifer Abel. In one text from Jennifer to Melissa, she says, "He wants to feel like she can be buried," referencing Justin and Blake. Melissa tells Jennifer, "You know we can bury anyone." Some of these text messages are very intense. They are referencing unaliving Blake and putting her in a box. In one text, Jennifer says, "I'm having reckless thoughts of wanting to plant pieces this week of how horrible Blake is to work with." In one text from Justin to Jennifer, he asks what their TikTok strategy is, and he asks for them only to start posting clips of him talking about domestic violence and why this movie is so important.
The texts get even more ruthless. "He wants to feel like she can be buried," Abel supposedly wrote. Nathan responded cautiously about keeping things quiet. "We can't write, we will destroy her," but then added the chilling line, "Imagine if a document saying all the things that he wants ends up in the wrong hands. You know we can bury anyone." This is getting seriously dark.
Jennifer is celebrating how fans are backing up Justin online. In another text, she says, "Fans remain supportive of you and believe the issue of the feud is because she took control of the movie." Melissa says, "The majority of socials are so pro-Justin, and I don't even agree with half of them, LOL." In other text messages, Justin suggests how they might flip the narrative. In this screenshot, Justin sends an article about allegations of bullying against Hailey Bieber. He says, "This is what we would need," basically saying they need people to think that Blake Lively is a bully. This is a lot. Let me know your thoughts down below and follow.
Despite this raging legal storm, Blake is still out there facing the public. She recently showed up at SXSW for her new film, Another Simple Favor premiere, where she thanked fans, saying she could feel the love amid all this turmoil. Talk about putting on a brave face.
That's called fraud, when you pretend you want to do the one thing and you'll do the thing they're hiring you for, but all along you have secret plans to do something very, very different that's above your pay grade. And she finally bumped into someone who was weak enough and not famous enough to stop her, right? This Justin Baldoni, most people had never even heard of him. He'd been in like one series. He certainly wasn't at Ryan Reynolds level fame, never mind Blake Lively. And she bullied him into giving her the movie, where she did her own cut. They released the cut of the movie. He didn't even get to see it. He was the director of the film, the producer of the film, the guy who got the rights to the film, the one who's supposed to be in control. He didn't even get to see it. He was in the basement at his own movie premiere. And then she had the nerve, because she had 2 minutes of bad publicity when the film...
Megyn is tearing into Blake, calling it absurd that she's trying to paint herself as a number Me Too victim. According to Kelly, Blake's claims are nothing but a sympathy grab during her legal troubles. girls. The outspoken journalist slammed Blake for what she called a convenient narrative shift, questioning the timing and authenticity. As the backlash grows, everyone's debating whether Blake's allegations have any merit, or if she's exploiting the movement to distract from her own drama.
She alleges that she's a Me Too victim there. That's absurd. Watch it. They're acting like lovers.
And my nose is so big.
Yes, I was hoping that we could address this. It's not too late.
Okay, there. Okay, so he puts his like head in her neck.
I'm not getting beard on you today.
And says, "Am I getting beard on you?"
That smells good.
Well, it's not that. It's my body makeup.
Well, they're doing that because they are in character, and they are trying to make it look for the camera like they love each other. Now she wants a complete gag order. Why should Justin be able to release snippets to the media without the full context? That's what she said. That's what she did.
On May 15, 2023, Blake and Justin exchanged texts about changing Lily Bloom's dialogue in It Ends With Us. Blake wanted to give the character more agency and playfulness to amp up the chemistry between Lily and Ryle. The battle for creative control was on.
It's a text exchange between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni during the filming of It Ends With Us. Hey Blake, did you rewrite Lily's lines for today's scene? Oh yeah, nothing big though, just a few changes that I think better portray Lily's thoughts. That's cool, I don't mind, I trust you. Could you just let me know next time in advance? I want as much of a woman's perspective as possible. So do your thing, I just want to be kept in the loop. So Ryle is reacting to the right lines when we film. Gotcha. Don't worry, you're still the director. No need to snap at me. So that passive-aggressive exchange was part of a text from May 15th, 2023, and then they sent each other voice memos. More things to come with this to see if the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni lawsuits go to trial.
Blake Lively did a movie co-starring Justin Baldoni. They had a falling out while they were shooting the film. She blamed him for being over-sexual. She put that lawsuit out to try and destroy him. But it turns out that she fabricated a whole bunch of text messages. Her side of the story was fabricated and framed on Justin. When they had their premiere, bro, Justin, all his friends, and all his family were sent to the basement because Blake Lively didn't want any of them to be seen. As if it was just her night and her movie. Yeah. Now, there's a theory. It wasn't just Blake Lively suing Justin. It was also Ryan Reynolds. In Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds put in a character to make fun of Justin Baldoni. It was nice pool. They made that character to try and make fun of him, bro. Some of the theories are saying...
Okay, so this is an excerpt from my new favorite book, which is the website that Justin Baldoni published, all about his correspondence with Blake Lively. And this is one of my favorite excerpts with my new favorite Game of Thrones character, Blake Lively. Are you ready for it? Blake Lively writes, I can send you my pass at the roof, or just read with you when we get together next week. Let me know what you prefer, smiley face. If you knew me in person longer, you'd have a sense of just how flirty and yummy the ball busting would play. It's my love language, spicy and playfully bold, never with teeth. And him serving it back to her is just as important. You don't usually see both the man and the woman with such agency and humor. Anyway, I can act it out for you next week to make sure it comes through. Or I can send it now. Let me know what you prefer. XX. To which Justin Baldoni responded, sorry, I was just crying my eyes out as kids and family just left for another 5 weeks and it was a shit show. Heart emoji, heart emoji, heart emoji.
In leaked internal communications, Baldoni expressed his frustration. Everyone knows how I feel about all this and how angry I am that Blake has taken over our film and somehow rewrote a movie we spent years developing, writing, and funding. Despite his anger, Baldoni gave in, writing, I am going to give her 98% of what she wants. I'm sure none of us have the energy to fight anymore. Yikes.
Lee also inserted herself into the editing room, would have pages of notes, would have the editors fly to her so she could continue making revisions for her own cut. And when she was unhappy, she had the editor and a composer fired from the film. And even though they tested her edit versus Baldoni's edit in front of audiences, and Baldoni's edit ranked higher, she demanded that Sony release her version of the film. She even tried to bully her way into getting a PGA mark. which is a coveted credit for producers, which Baldoni and Jamie Heath were absolutely against. So much so that they still wrote the letter, but also sent a copy to their attorney saying that this letter was written and signed under duress.
This feud has now exploded into a $400 million lawsuit filed by Baldoni against Blake, her husband Ryan Reynolds, and their publicist Leslie Sloan. He's alleging defamation, extortion, and invasion of privacy. The lawsuit claims Blake's actions derailed production and undermined the whole creative team. Baldoni's attorney, Brian Friedman, says the legal action is based on overwhelming evidence of Blake and her team's attempts to destroy Baldoni by spreading edited and unsubstantiated info to the media.
This was a sinister PR move. Blake Lively then moved 11 days later to file a lawsuit. So now she has filed a lawsuit. And I don't think she ever wanted to do this. I think she genuinely wanted this to be a PR move, and she wanted to leak it to the New York Times. She thought the public would take her side with no questions asked. And instead the public is saying, no, we have a few questions here. And Justin Baldoni is going all the way to the wall on this. His lawyer is already giving interviews explaining just how nasty her team has played this. The lawyer's name is Brian Friedman. He stopped by the Megyn Kelly show, and here's some of the things that he had to say. First, he says there used to never be a sexual claim. There never was a sexual claim until she went to that civil rights office. Take a listen.
There was actually no allegation of sexual harassment until the lawsuit was filed.
I was lucky to be able to be involved in so many different aspects of this movie, not just on screen. On screen is the smallest amount of work that I did in this film, to be honest. I took the relationships with my mother, or my sisters, or my children, and my feelings, and I mean it's all over this film. And in ways that nobody will ever know, and I'll never tell anybody. But when I sit in that theater with my loved ones, they see themselves all over this film. Moments we've had together, things we've said to each other, and I think that's why I feel so proud, and it's so personal.
Blake fired back 11 days later with her own lawsuit. Megyn Kelly suggests Blake never wanted legal action. She just wanted a PR win by leaking to the New York Times, thinking the public would automatically take her side. Instead, people are asking questions, and Justin is going all out. His lawyer Brian Friedman dropped bombshells on the Megyn Kelly show, claiming there was never a sexual harassment claim until Blake filed her lawsuit. The drama took an even more shocking turn when Baldoni decided to drag Taylor Swift into this mess.
Talking all things Blake Lively and her legal complaint that she's filed against her It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni. Yes, the It Ends With Us movie drama does in fact not end. What's interesting about this story to me is the Justin Baldoni of it all. He is a self-proclaimed male feminist. He's woke. He speaks out against sexual assault and sexual harassment, even toxic masculinity. And now in this legal complaint filed by Blake Lively, he's being accused of sexual harassment.
I challenge you to see if you can use the same qualities that you feel make you a man to go deeper into yourself. And will you be man enough to stand up to other men when you hear locker room talk, when you hear stories of sexual harassment, when you hear your boys talking about grabbing ass or getting her drunk? Will you actually stand up and do something so that one day we don't have to live in a world where a woman has to risk everything and come forward to say the words "me too"?
This is gonna be really awkward if these allegations are true. I will say, just for the record, I'm not a fan of either of these individuals, and something about both of them rubs me the wrong way.
Harassment, followed by an attempted PR takedown of her to cover his own ass from people finding out what he did to her. In an article titled "We Can Bury Anyone," Blake Lively heroically shared her story, and the world was on her side because it looked like she was just trying to take down a predator in Hollywood. So Justin Baldoni and his ace lawyer launched an all-cylinder fire attack to clear his name, and he started by suing the New York Times, saying that article was just published because it was paid for by Ryan Reynolds, and it was a multi-layered scheme planned out by Blake and Ryan to take down Justin. And I think it's pretty common knowledge that the mainstream media will lie on behalf of their powerful friends or anyone who pays them off to say sorry.
According to court documents, Baldoni alleged that Blake used Taylor Swift to put pressure on him during a tense meeting with Ryan Reynolds about script edits for a rooftop scene. Using Taylor as leverage? That's cold.
Baldoni is now involving Taylor Swift in his lawsuit against Blake Lively. So Justin Baldoni is suing Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and their publicists for over $400 million for all the It Ends With Us drama. Now he's name-dropping Taylor Swift, Blake's bestie, in the mix. Thankfully, Taylor Swift is not being sued. but she's mentioned in his 179-page paper complaint. And he's alleging that Taylor's fame was used to pressure him during production. And it really all stems from this penthouse situation where Blake and Ryan live. Apparently there was a meeting there with all of them, and Taylor Swift was actually present, and Blake ended up rewriting one of the scenes. And even after the meeting was over, Baldoni texted Blake this, saying, "I gotta put my glasses on for this one, the font is too small. Also was working on the rooftop scene today. Really love what you did. Makes it so much more fun."
The lawsuit includes messages between production team members freaking out over Blake's increasing control of directorial decisions. In one exchange, a producer warned that if Baldoni gave Blake too much influence, she'd basically become a co-director. He cannot let her have opinions on everything, or she's going to be co-directing the film, the producer stated. The power struggle was real.
So what was it like working with Blake Lively on the set of It Ends With Us? Justin Baldoni dropped a number of text messages with crew members detailing just how difficult Blake Lively was to work with. Baldoni claims that since day one of production, she tried to push her weight. She would undermine their wardrobe director and make outfit choices of her own. And rather than showing up to her scheduled fittings, she drove up the budget by having them shuttle all of the clothes to her so that she could try them on. She would often rewrite her lines daily, and apparently she was having Ryan Reynolds, who has no official credit on the film, help her rewrite some of the scenes, which was unbeknownst to Baldoni and the screen.
Ryan Friedman, representing Baldoni, is not holding back about Blake's alleged behavior. He called it a vicious smear campaign, fully orchestrated by Blake Lively and her team, claiming the New York Times cowered to the wants and whims of two powerful, untouchable Hollywood elites, ignoring journalistic ethics by using doctored and manipulated texts that supported their PR narrative.
Who are not in the Hollywood world, what is wrong with her taking over the film?
I've never seen it before in my 30-plus year career in Hollywood. And an executive producer is below a producer in the film world. An executive producer signed up to be an executive producer, and that's it. As the time progressed in this film, she decided that she wanted to be a producer. She started to make edits. She wanted to be part of the editing team. There were people hired, like human beings actually hired to do the editing job, who had done work as editors. She wanted to be part of that team. The next thing you know, she took over the editing. She started making threats that she wouldn't promote the movie, that she wanted to be in control of marketing of the movie, that she would do nothing in terms of promotion unless she was the actual editor.
What are your thoughts on this explosive Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni drama? Will this legal battle destroy their careers? Drop your opinions below.